Imagine meeting an actual Revolutionary War soldier today. Well, Conrad Heyer was that soldier. In 1852, at 103 years old, this farmer-turned-vet had his life-spanning picture taken by the brand-new invention of daguerreotype photography. Heyer linked revolutionary beginnings to modern technology in a single lifetime. How could one man connect such distant eras of history? Conrad Heyer was born way back in 1749 in the small frontier town of Waldoboro, Maine. It was still part of Massachusetts back then when America was British colonies. Heyer's family got free land for serving England years before. They had a humble farm where Heyer helped work the fields, harvest crops, and feed animals as a boy. No schools out there to attend, so Heyer learned by doing manual labor. It made him sturdy and independent, unlike city folks. But Heyer heard rumblings of fighting with Britain. When shots broke out starting the Revolutionary War in 1775, 25-year-old Heyer decided to join the new Continental Army against England. Heyer went to Cambridge, Massachusetts, and met his colonel named John Glover, called Amphibious General for his water skills. The unit was full of fishermen and sailors able to maneuver boats. That proved key because soon Heyer and the seamen moved Washington's freezing soldiers across the icy Delaware River on Christmas night. They won a famous 1776 surprise attack against Hessians. But how did this little-known farmer soldier end up photographed over 70 years after those revolutionary battles? The year was 1839 when the process of daguerreotype photography was introduced to the world. Suddenly, a way existed to capture highly detailed permanent images without having to hand-draw them. People were blown away and excited by this new technology that allowed them to preserve instances of life like never before. Soon ornate daguerreotype portrait studios popped up in cities and towns, offering to take people's photos. The rich would pose wearing their best outfits, but even working-class folks began sitting before the cameras. Small and fuzzy at first, the images grew larger and crisper throughout the 1840s. By the early 1850s, exposure times were fast enough to photograph people, landscapes, and architecture with stunning clarity. Now, photography offered the promise of documenting things otherwise lost to memory and history. And in 1852, photographers turned their lens on an unlikely subject, 103-year-old Conrad Heyer. As a Revolutionary War veteran, Heyer embodied a living piece of America's founding story. What details from our nation's early days might be saved through this centenarian's weathered face? The 1852 photo captures elderly Heyer seated sternly while staring straight ahead. Eyes darkened from age peer out under bushy white eyebrows and an expansive forehead. The old man's fully balding head and long wispy hair behind give him an elongated look. While thin lips are pursed, the hint of a smile seems to play at their edges. Heyer's prominent nose leads our gaze down to his clean-shaven chin and neck, wrapped snug in a black cravat tied over a white collared shirt. He wears a dark vest and long coat befitting a 19th-century elder statesman. The clothes appear rumpled, matching the loose, crepey skin of age hanging from his slim frame and exaggerated hands clutching a cane. Behind the seated figure, daguerreotype images pick up floorboards and the wooden slats of wall paneling. Diffused rays of sunlight angling in suggests Heyer posed next to a window in the 1852 portrait sitting. The full-length depth hints at a sizable room, maybe the front parlor of his Waldoboro farmhouse. While everything about the photo conveys old age, the spark of life in Heyer's eyes proves he still has vigor. And perhaps the slightest upturn of his mouth indicates Heyer was fully aware of this photo's unique importance. At 103, could he really comprehend they were using revolutionary technology to capture his revolutionary memories? The main controversy circling Conrad Heyer involves his precise birth year. As record-keeping practices weren't strict back then, Heyer's descendants and local Maine historians provide a few potential years he may have entered the world. Some adamantly claim 1749 is accurate, while others insist 1753 was his year of birth. Just a 4-year gap might not seem impactful, but it makes a big difference regarding Heyer's prestigious earliest born photographed distinction. If 1753 ended up his correct year of birth, Heyer would have been 99 years old when captured in his famed 1852 portrait instead of 103. Additionally, a couple other Revolutionary War veterans photographed later in life also exceeded 99 years of age at the time of their shoot. Particularly two men, Peter McIntosh and Samuel Downing, who each lived past 100 before sitting for early cameras. With birth years in the early 1750s, Mackintosh and Downing potentially outrank Heyer as the earliest born subjects professionally photographed. However, evidence more strongly upholds 1749 as Heyer's start year, and age 103 garners more attention. Still, the fuzziness of early records allows some uncertainty around Heyer's legendary status to persist. Regardless, Conrad Heyer was far from alone in straddling the Revolutionary War period and the rise of photography. Between 1840 to 1860, about 20 elderly American Revolution soldiers posed for proto-camera portraits. Subjects including Reverend Daniel Waldo, born in 1762, who taught school in his later years to afford survival after the war, wiped out his wealth. There was also Jesse Talbot, who enlisted as a 15-year-old private, with vivid first-hand memories of seeing General Washington in person over 90 years before his photo shoot. Thanks to these antique images, modern viewers can stare straight at their weathered eyes that bore witness to red-coated troops marching to drums at Bunker Hill decades prior, when the nation was but a fragile dream. In this way, early American photography allowed for unprecedented historical connections by capturing enduring images of some of the last surviving veterans who fought in the country's formative war for independence. Their photographic preservation links us all the way across the endless march of time to touch living history. So while debates around birth years may persist, Conrad Heyer, without question, lived an exceptionally long life that straddled immensely distinct eras of early America. From British subject to continental soldier to the first permanent captured image of a revolutionary survivor, Heyer's life story connects the strands of history in one remarkable thread. Whether or not he can definitively claim the earliest born photographic subject crown, Heyer's 120-year journey represents the long view of a rapidly transforming nation in its fragile infancy. Much of what America would become took shape over the course of his unbelievable lifetime spanning colonies, revolution, and photographic genesis. Could Conrad Heyer really be the earliest born person photographed? How astounding that one life could link distant eras from revolution to early cameras. Makes you wonder what transformational events a person born today might witness, doesn't it? Share your thoughts below and be sure to like and subscribe for more intriguing stories and mysteries from Unexplained Studios. See you next time.